welcome to Sagittarius season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and the creator of Embodied Astrology. If you enjoy my readings, make sure to pre-order your 2025 Year Ahead Expanded Horoscope now. The Embodied Astrology yearly forecasts for each sign go in-depth with the most important transits, offering embodied suggestions for making the most of the opportunities and working skillfully with the challenges. A special treat for the 2025 readings will be sign-specific meditations that accompany your forecasts. You'll be able to use them throughout the year to increase and deepen your alignment with the upcoming year's transformative influences. You might also be interested in your 2024 annual reading, which still has lots of important information for the near and far future and prompts to reflect on the past. The 2024 readings are now discounted by 75%, and you can pre-order your 2025 readings or access this year's reading by clicking the link below. Embodied Astrology is much more than horoscopes and podcasts. It is actually a movement that is full of people who are interested in the ways that astrology can help us more deeply embody our earthly and universal intelligence. We offer ongoing classes, workshops, trainings, and community process spaces where we practice astrology as a language for living. We blend astrology with art, science, healing methodologies, and activist strategies. We hold space for ourselves and each other to expand and explore symbolism, mythology, and meaning. We queer, unpack, and evolve this ancient technology in service of our present needs and future potentials. If this sounds like something you've been looking for, or if my readings resonate for you and you want to take them to the next level, I hope you'll join us sometime. Stick around after your horoscope, and I'm going to tell you more about some of what we offer, how we work, and why I think embodied astrology is a great space for you too. If this work benefits you and you want to help me keep giving these monthly readings for free and help us keep all of our offerings available with financial accessibility and sliding scale, please take a moment right now to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels. This is the #1 way you can help us grow. This season's horoscopes are intuitive offerings for each sign of the zodiac. I hope that they serve and support you in some way. Listen for your sun, moon, and rising signs, and remember that not everything is for everyone, so take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's most meaningful for you. Thank you so much for being here, and now, onto your horoscopes. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Sagittarius season. As we move into Sagittarius season, we are deep in retrograde energies. We enter the season in the pre-retrograde shadow of both Mercury and Mars, and over the course of this season, both planets will be stationing retrograde. Mercury turns retrograde just a couple of days after Sagittarius season begins. In your chart, these retrogrades feel really practical to me. There are some really big questions coming up about your energy, your time, your resources, your health and well-being, and how you're taking care of the, I'm sure, many things that you need to take care of in the details and to-do lists of your life. In the first week and a half or so of Sagittarius season, we are approaching a new moon in Sagittarius. And because your sign, Cancer, is ruled by the moon, then you definitely are affected by the lunations, by the new moon and the full moon, and it would probably be a good idea for you to work intentionally with them. So when we are moving in the dark moon cycle or the disseminating moon, there is a naturally internalizing energy. This is a time to slow down, to really take care of our body's needs for resting and digesting. And in your chart especially, this is a period of time that is asking you to come in and attend to what is closest and most important to the everyday workings of your life. This is also a period of time that for a lot of folks can feel really overwhelming. And in your chart, I'm feeling like many of you might have your to-do lists everywhere and lots of different places in your life that are pulling out your attention. And ultimately, this is about your capacity and what you have to give to the various components of your life. So if there are a lot of details that you're trying to organize or get organized, this period of time could feel a little bit draining and depleting. So please, Cancers out there, I want to remind you that slow and steady wins the race. There really, hopefully, is not a rush or urgency that is a fact. A lot of times we feel rushed and we feel urgent about all kinds of things that are not totally needing us to rush or be urgent. So if there's anywhere that you can slow down, that you can simplify things, that would be in your best interest at this time, especially as we move towards the new moon. This is a great time to restructure your to-do list. Make sure that you're putting your most important items right up at the top. A lot of the times it's hardest for us to work with the most important things first. I don't know if you're like this, but I tend to find it easier sometimes to do the easier tasks, but that puts the harder tasks, which are often the most important tasks, further and further back, and it can increase anxiety and procrastination. So if you're like me and you find it easier to do the easy things first, I'm going to challenge you in this season to do the hard things first, to do the things that are most important and your biggest priorities first. That will give you energy for all the other little things. It'll help you feel like you're accomplishing something, and I think it will boost your morale in this period of time, which could feel like a lot is coming at you. Now, as I mentioned, Mercury is stationing retrograde on November 25th, and when Mercury stations retrograde, we are working with the symbol of thinking and cognition and communication and perception, reversing its course somehow. So this can be a time when mistakes are made, especially if we are moving quickly and hastily. So this is another reason to kind of chill out if you're feeling urgent. Urgency often results in missed steps and misperceptions. Again, slow and steady wins the race. Because Mercury retrograde is influencing your 6th house of daily affairs and well-being, I also really just can't emphasize enough how important it is to move with care and really attend to what is most important first. This is a retrograde that is asking you to review and reflect on the ways that your energy is getting taken care of. When I say energy in this particular context, I am talking about your life energy, the capacity that you have to give attention to things, your time, your presence, your labor, your interests. Mercury retrograde is asking you to simplify, and this is ultimately an opportunity for you to make space for more of what brings you joy and what actually serves and feeds your energy. So it's a great time to do some inventory and think about how you're spending your time, your energy, your resources, your money, what you're working on, where you're putting hours and laboring that you actually don't need to. Scrolling on our phones is a great way to waste time and squander energy these days. A lot of people have access to that, misuse potentially of some energy. There may also be relationships in your life where communications are in some kind of state of needing to get sorted through. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I do want to say that sometimes the amount of time that we spend circling around communications and relationships can be excessive. And if you resonate with this, maybe there's a lot of time and energy that you are experiencing being given to some kind of thought process about people in your life, about communications in your life, maybe conflict or negotiations that you're trying to figure out. I want to encourage you to actually support those kinds of conversations to happen more easily by not obsessing about them, but actually giving more time and attention to your body. doing things that help you feel grounded, help you feel energized, help you connect in with your natural state, your birthright state of connection with the universe, with the stars, with the earth. Dancing, being creative, doing anything that gets your heart beating, your circulation moving. These kinds of activities will help clear your mind and move your energy and make space for more discernment and refinement when it comes into the communications that are most important. Now, when it comes to your relationships, particularly the first half of Sagittarius season, so through the new moon and into the first couple of days of December, there's a lot of emphasis in how you are presenting yourself and what kinds of people are coming into your life. The area of your relationships is undergoing an enormous transformation right now. There are really remarkable shifts that I think a lot of you are recognizing that have to do with the ways that you get attached to people and what happens inside of important attachments and bonds. We can have all kinds of ideas about who people are and what our relationships are going to be from the outside. But as you know, when you get into those relationships, there's all kinds of other things that happen there too. And if a relationship is important, and that doesn't necessarily have to do with the duration, but the intensity of a relationship and what it means in your life, it will have some kind of psychological effect. And the psychology of your relationships is a place that a lot of you are really noticing some important changes happening, I think, from the looks of your chart. And I think that many of you are potentially recognizing how patterns in your attachment system are anchored in psychological patterns that are now ready to transform and do something different. You might be experiencing situations in your relationships that are very familiar and old, and you're really ready to change them. And so when they come up and you're like, wow, this is so familiar, this is so old. If you have that feeling, congratulations, because that is your consciousness now really able to externalize that pattern, to see it for what it is and start to change it. And you've heard this saying, right, that the hardest part of change is recognizing the need to change. And so when we are really inside of our patterns, it just feels like that's the weather. We don't even notice that that's what's happening. And so if your patterns are starting to become really apparent to you, that could include general patterns in relationship as well as specific patterns with specific people. If you're really starting to see them very clearly, then this is the time for you to do some kind of study of what these patterns are. How do they function and how do you keep them functioning in this way? If they're patterns that you want to change and you're ready to experience new levels of intimacy or different kinds of contracts with your relationships, now is the time to notice how you might be part of creating patterns that you're ready to change. And this can include your general vibe and energy. This can include your memories and past experiences. This can include the ways that you respond to your emotions or the ways that your body goes into a somatic patterned state inside of your relationships, behaviors, decisions, etc. So, first half of Sagittarius season, my friends, is the time for inventory and budgets. This is the time for clearing out what doesn't work for you anymore. Really great time to pay attention to what feels off or not right or old and you're ready for something new. Things are about to move forward, but the course needs to change. And this first half of Sagittarius season is big time, ripe for letting things go and for noticing what is ready to change. Now, as we get into the month of December, particularly from about December 5th forward, there is a kind of uptick in energy. It feels like a lot of people are getting some good clarity around this time. This might be a period of time where you have a bunch of new ideas flowing in. Your capacity to receive new ideas, to feel energized about your body, about your health, about your day-to-day, to feel clarity about how you want to be working or working differently with the patterns of your life. Your capacity to receive all of that information is directly related to how much you are willing to let go of what doesn't work. So last time I'm going to say it, the first half of the season, really make space for emptying. What is not working for you? Stop doing it. If things are taking more attention than you want to give them, you have to be disciplined. Stop giving them that attention. If you want to shift patterns, do something to help you shift a pattern. Talk to your therapist, write affirmations, put them all over your space, practice them. You can do embodied meditations where you tune in with your body and with your energy and you imagine doing something different. So you get that neural network starting to fire, and that'll support you as the new things start to call you. And the new is calling as we get into December. And the new is sometimes kind of scary. It's sometimes kind of strange. We might not know what to do with it necessarily when it shows up. And so as patterns shift and change, there might be a little bit of awkwardness. And because we are working with Mercury retrograde and Mars is stationing retrograde on December 5th, this is definitely a great period of time to be experimental and to be adaptable. In the last half of Sagittarius season, there are some big pieces of clarity, I think, coming in for Cancerians about your most vital resources, your most important investments. Now, this can definitely include material investment and resources, as well as your time and your labor. But I'm going to say that ultimately, this is about how you thrive as a human being and what actually you need to feel like you can be here fully, authentically, heart opened, and available for what is most important to you. And for many Cancerian people, what is most important is ultimately some level of relationship and feeling safe and secure and like needs are met inside of relationships. Many of us pursue those kinds of needs and aims through compromise, through helping other people, through, in some ways, putting ourselves to the side or last as we attend to the needs of our relationships. And sometimes it's totally necessary and right for us to make those choices. But Cancer, I'm seeing some things in your chart that are telling me that you need to make some choices for you right now. And it's really important that you are tending your vital energy. Your vital energy gets fed when you feel playful, when you get to be spontaneous, when you get to do the things that you enjoy. I know that life will keep lifing, and in 2024, life is intense and feels really hard in a lot of ways for a lot of people. I definitely don't want to diminish that reality at all, but I also want to ask you to get curious about whether it's possible that maybe there are some chances for pleasure and enjoyment and spontaneity and curiosity that happen to be calling to you right now. I think you know what I mean. I think a lot of you feel a really deep longing right now. And this longing feels like a need to reconnect with parts of yourself that may have been more vital and exuberant in younger years, depending on how old you are. Maybe this is you as a really young kid. Maybe this is you as an adolescent. Maybe this is you in times of your life when you felt like you got to let go of some adulting for a moment here or there. But now is a time to reawaken and rekindle that kind of vital force and creative energy for yourself. I know that this isn't always easy, and I know that this also requires sacrifice. And so this is the thing about Sagittarius season. There are some parts of your life, and this could include what you're doing with your day-to-day, your responsibilities, again, your time, your energy, your attention. This can definitely include aspects of your relationships, but there are some things that you are doing right now that you don't need to be doing. And you know what they are. And it can feel real hard to make the adjustments, to stop doing what isn't serving you, and to make time and space to do what you know makes you happy. But that is your responsibility this season. And I want to tell you that when you attend to your inner fire, when you fan the flames of your own passion and enthusiasm and creativity, of your erotic energy, which is life force energy, this is your interest and attraction to what compels you. When you feed that energy in your life, that is actually a gift to your relationships. And so if it feels like a binary right now, like it's about taking care of other people or taking care of yourself, Cancer, please remember that when you take care of your own energy, that frees up your time, your attention, your mental energy, your love nature. That frees you up to be more present and engaged with the people who you care about most and with the work that is most important to you. Now, Mercury is stationing direct on the day of the full moon. This is December 15th, full moon in Gemini. Gemini is the sign that comes before yours, and so it is an energy that expands your consciousness. It brings you into the everything that you are a part of. This is a full moon that would love for you to take some time for yourself. It's a full moon that would love you to listen to the call of your curiosities. What wants you to learn something about it right now? Where are there new ideas that you have been wanting and ready to explore? Are there ways that you can express yourself creatively around this time for no goal, no productivity, nobody as an audience, just you, just your enjoyment and your connection with, what do you want to call it? The mystery, your higher self, your inspiration, your guides, your guardians, your ancestors. There's a lot of energy that wants to come in around this full moon. And when I'm saying energy this time, I'm talking about magic. I'm talking about the unseen. And I'm also talking about the ways that that kind of energy feeds and supports the energy of your body, your vitality, your aliveness, your presence, etc. As Mercury stations direct with the full moon, this is a period of time that is bringing a lot of clarity, guidance forward, and inspiration for you. And it really needs you to listen. As we move through the end of 2024 and into 2025, there is a lot that's shifting that wants to help you move in new, bold, courageous, creative directions in your life. And I think that this season potentially is giving you a lot of guidance and downloads around that. So please make yourself available for it. And Cancer, I really hope that this horoscope helps you to hear your inner guidance and supports you in any way. I'm wishing you all the best in Sagittarius season and beyond. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to your Sagittarius season reading. If this horoscope resonated for you, please show your support by liking, following, and subscribing, and by sharing this work with your friends and community. I also hope you'll consider working more deeply with us at Embodied Astrology. Because we time our classes, workshops, and events with current transits, we're always offering to the present moment, and we're usually right on time. Every month and throughout the seasons, we engage the creative, experimental, and experiential aspects of current astrology. and our work is always given with an ethos of generosity and accessibility. Our classes, workshops, and series are available with scholarship and sliding scale, and no one is turned away for lack of funds. We do rely on your support and presence to keep us going, though, so help us sustain and support our work by making a one-time or recurring donation, becoming a member, or signing up for one of our offerings. Our offerings this season are exciting, and I hope that you'll join me for some of them. Every Monday, I offer a class called Somatic Space, where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. You can drop in once to try it out, or if you become a member, you'll also get access to the past class video archive and Tea Time, a monthly conversational space where we learn and share how astrology is moving through our lives and make great friends and build community in the process. Over the course of Sagittarius season, we're also offering a number of unique workshops that are times to help us meet this moment of change and transformation that Sagittarius season is bringing. On Sunday, December 1st, Embodied Astrology is honored to offer a new moon somatic grief ritual and ceremony of connection with ancestors, elements, and the earth, facilitated by Ekua Adisa. Ekua is a grief guide, death care worker, medicine person, medium, world shaper, and ritualist who will be joining our facilitator, Sherry Taylor, in her Embodied Astrology series exploring the femme and queer faces of Saturn, Salve e Coagula. Sherry will be joined again on the solstice, December 21st, for a year's end writing ritual co-led with Janata Petrus. This is an opportunity to reflect with the astrology and the personal and collective lessons of 2024 before we transition into a new calendar year. In between these two sessions with Sherry, you can also join Janata for December 15th's Full Moon Artistic Alchemy session, where you'll learn more about the Sagittarius-Gemini axis in your chart and practice tapping into this energetic polarity through prompts and personal reflections that guide support for living and expressing your courageous creativity throughout the seasons. Finally, on December 7th, the day that Neptune stations direct from its 6-month retrograde, please join us for the final session in the Nebula Lab series hosted by Gabs 404. Over the past 6 months, the Nebula Lab has been a place where we've been learning about Neptune's current transit in the last degrees of the zodiac through art, culture, media, embodiment, history, and technology. In this culminating session, Gabs is joined by Danny D'Amelia. Danny is an artist and educator working at the intersections of performance, visual art, radical pedagogy, and social, relational, ecological justice. Danny will guide us in an exploration of radical intimacy, unnumbing, and expanding our awareness of interrelatedness beyond the human realms. These are, of course, some of the qualities and conditions which we'll most need in the year ahead and the years to come, so I truly hope that you can join us. You can find more information about everything and everyone I just mentioned in the show notes or through the study section at embodiedastrology.com. If you can't make our live events, but you still want to participate, your registration always includes recording access. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening and engaging. I truly hope to see you in an Embodied Astrology space soon. Bye for now.